Any time of the week you feel like you need to do this, do this. I hope that at one point I become a 5 a.m. person. Sometimes like you're dreading something in your head or you're imagining something as a lion. And then when you actually encounter it, you realize that it was just like a cat, like a very small cat. If you always feel overwhelmed, if you dread the work that you have to do, I feel like I've hacked something right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Dimma here. This video, I am going to share with you guys how to make a productive daily schedule if you always feel lazy. And I'm not even saying this as like lazy as a bad thing, but like if you always feel overwhelmed, if you dread the work that you have to do, if you feel lazy, I feel like I've hacked something right now because the past few months, like I've entered this year thinking, oh my God, I have so much to do this year. How on earth am I going to get by and do all that I have to do on a weekly basis? And let me tell you guys, like, things are actually moving more than I thought that they would. And it's because of something that I've set up and I've established, and it's helping me really, really well. So in this video, I will be sharing with you guys how to make a productive daily schedule if you always feel lazy, if you feel overwhelmed, or if you're just struggling with productivity. I think that this is going to help you. Before I start, I want to say a very big thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. Some of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you guys in this video, I actually learned through therapy, and everything I'm going to say now, I'm just going to also emphasize why I think that therapy is very, very important. In the beginning, when I started seeing my therapist, I remember like I was really struggling with productivity. I was dealing with anxiety. I used to let the thought of all I had to do overwhelm me, and then I would procrastinate, and then I'll feel a bit lazy-ish, and then at the end of the day I feel so frustrated at myself. Like I'll be like, if I had just done this when I needed to do it, I wouldn't even be feeling as bad as I do now. Therapy really made me understand the importance of scheduling. If you do not know who or what BetterHelp is, BetterHelp connects you to a licensed therapist who has been trained to listen to you and give you helpful, unbiased advice. I am a big advocate of therapy. I think that it has helped me a lot outside of the topic we're even discussing in this video. If you want to give BetterHelp a try, you can use this link, www.betterhelp.com/dimma. It's also going to be in the description box, and this link will take you straight to the BetterHelp website. Once you get to the BetterHelp website, you're going to be given a form or a questionnaire where you fill and just answer questions that would help them understand you, where you're at, and what type of help you need. And they will use this information to match you to a therapist who has helped people deal with issues just like what you're dealing with. You can do all of this from your phone or your iPad, whatever mobile device you have, or even your computer. Once you start using BetterHelp, you should be able to communicate with your therapist via phone calls, just like regular phone calls. You talk, you have your sessions via phone conversation, via instant messaging, just like the way you would message anybody on your mobile device. You can also talk to them via video call or by video chat, which I honestly prefer because it gives me the feel that I'm in the same room with my therapist. You have different options and you're free to choose whatever option is convenient for you, whichever one you're comfortable with. Once you go to the website and fill out the questionnaire, you'll be matched with your therapist usually within 48 hours so that you can get started really fast. So visit www.betterhelp.com/dimma or choose my channel name Dimma at sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month at BetterHelp. For anybody who is feeling overwhelmed or lazy or just unproductive, scheduling your day makes things so much easier. I also feel like it's that thing where sometimes like you're dreading something in your head or you're imagining something as a lion, and then when you actually encounter it, you realize that it was just like a cat, like a very small cat. Sometimes we fixate so much on what we have to do as these big ideas, and when you start actually doing them and you start breaking them down, you guys, I'm sure that everybody here has had a situation where you were putting something off for so long and you were procrastinating, and then you actually now sit down because of some sort of pressure, or maybe because you don't have any more time, and you begin to try to do it and you realize just how easy that thing is. The thing about scheduling, or the reason why I think it's so good, is that it really breaks things down and gives you a very, very solid structure on how to tackle them. And then in the process of that breakdown, you begin to even feel better about the tasks that you have to do. They're no longer these big, unknown, like overwhelming things. Scheduling is so important, and I'm going to show you guys how I do mine. The first thing I do is to do a big to-do list, right? I also like to schedule my days like the night before. Like when I've finished doing my skincare routine, night care, everything, after I've had dinner, I lay in bed, I bring out my tablet, or I can bring out my notepad and I begin to write. First thing I do, I tend to do this especially at the beginning of every week, is to write down a list of everything that I want to achieve that week in no particular order. This whole thing I'm going to share with you guys, this whole system for me is so easy. And it's also because I've also like watched videos on scheduling and productivity sometimes. When you begin to talk about Notion and Substack and all these other complicated things, I get even more overwhelmed, and then I run back and be like, oh, there's no solution to my problem. What I'm trying to explain to you guys is that everything I'm saying here is very, very easy. You already, in one way or the other, have at least one resource or one material you need to make this a thing for yourself, okay? So make this big note. Like I like to call it a dumpster. Like I dump everything. If there are people that I feel like I have to talk to before the week runs out, at no particular date, I just write it down. I just want to, like everything I write it down, I just begin to write and write and write and write and write. As you guys can see here, this is me just basically filling out my to-do list section. I write everything from phone calls to things that I would like to eat, to things that I would like to cook, to recipes that I'd like to try out, to meetings that I know I have to have at some point this week, to people that I know that I have to give feedback, videos that I know that I have to shoot, things that I know I have to schedule, like everyday things, even like things that will give me joy, like books that I think I need to start, activities I think I need to do. It's important that you just write all of this down. And also, please do not feel constrained to the beginning of the week. Any time of the week you feel like you need to do this, do this. But it is important that at one point in the week, you make a list, okay? Write everything down. If you get so good at this, you can even begin to make these to-do lists like weeks ahead of time. So you can make a list and be like, this to-do list is dedicated to the first week of April, for example. These are all the things that I want to get done, but like first week of April or before the second week of April. You make that type of list, right? And then you begin to tackle it day to day. This planner that I'm using here, guys, is actually my own planner because I feel like all the things that are inside are things that are very, very important. Like I have to use at or just like fill in at certain points during the month, okay? So you guys can see that right at the top, there is a list of months. So all the months of the year from January to December are right on the top of this planner. And you guys can see that immediately underneath, you have numbers 1 to 31, basically representing all the days you could possibly get in a month. So what I do is for any day that I'm making a schedule, I mark the month and then I mark the day. And then I begin to break things down. My planner starts from 6 a.m. because I feel like waking up before that there's no reason. But that's a personal thing. But some people like super early mornings and, you know, even it doesn't matter when they sleep, they just like early mornings. I'm not really a morning person. So for me, a safe thing for me was to have this planner start by 6 a.m. That seems more practical to me, seems more doable, not intimidating. I hope that at one point I become a 5 a.m. person, but then I didn't want to make a planner or have a planner where the day starts by 5 a.m. And then when every time I don't wake up by 5 a.m., I feel a bit shitty. So 6 a.m. is a logical place for me to start. So, you know, what I begin to do is I begin to break my day down. And this breakdown is just basically me in a very optimistic way, giving things time slots. Right? Just writing down at what point I want to start whatever task that I've decided that I want to tackle on a particular day. So what I will do is I'll go to that to-do list that I made earlier, and then I'll choose maybe about 4 or 5 solid things, sometimes less, that I want to attend to on a particular day. Right? And then I begin to write it down. So for example, here you guys see 6 a.m. I wake up and then I put workouts for 7 a.m. and then breakfast. And sometimes the workout is not 7 a.m. Sometimes I move my workouts to 7 p.m. because sometimes I really, really enjoy working out in the evening as opposed to mornings. But because a lot of people I know just prefer working out in the morning, I've put my workouts for 7 a.m. here. just to give you guys an example. And then after that, I put breakfast in for 8 a.m. Then I have to film a YouTube video here today. So I write down that I have to start prepping the video by 9 a.m. And then I shoot the video by 10 a.m. The first video, I'm shooting 2 videos on this day. And then once I'm done, I transfer and export what I've just recorded. I have a habit of doing this because I've had like issues in the past where maybe I didn't really move things on time from whatever device I've recorded it with, and then I run into issues. So what I like to do is, like, especially after the first one, I move it into my computer. So I give myself an hour to do this. My computer is not that new, so it's a bit slow. It takes it about 30 to 40 minutes to do this. I take my time and then I take a break after that. At this point, I just low-key relax, scroll through social media. I could grab a bar or a snack or something. But at this point, the goal is to actually relax so that I don't feel like I've hurried from one project to the other. So I do something that, just gives me small joy for that 1 hour. And then after that, I shoot video 2. So the second video here you guys have seen is scheduled for 1 p.m. After shooting it, I shoot for like an hour. I transfer and export. And then I have lunch around 3 p.m. Ideally, this is also when I tend to have lunch. And then I take another break. I do the same thing. I catch up messages, just take a break, do stuff. And then on this day, I want to go grocery shopping. And so at this point, I feel like I'm done with my work day. So I go to the grocery store to buy stuff. And then I come back and I prep for dinner, depending on what I want to cook. If I'm not cooking, I take that time to also place my order. I just prep for dinner. And then after that, I take about 2 hours. I just 7 to 8 p.m. I like to leave this for dinner. If I'm eating with my partner, for example, we talk, we gist, we do a lot of things. So it's not like eat bam, bam, bam. It's also like quality time that we get to spend together. So we give it at least 2 hours. Weekends, I read more. But just to make sure that I'm reading at all during the weekday, 9 p.m., what I do is I make sure that I read at least 1 chapter of any book that I'm reading at that point. If the chapter was too small, I can read up to 2 chapters. After that, I do my devotional and then I sleep. So 10 p.m., I do my devotional, and after that is most likely sleep. That's how it tends to go. So that's just a breakdown. But once I do this breakdown like this, and I said like this is like a best case scenario, very optimistic breakdown. If things also don't go like this because of any type of delay, I'm not too hard on myself. But what happens is I check this off as I go. And because I'm checking it off, there's this sense of accomplishment that comes because I feel like I am doing something. And that, for me, it rewards me. Like, it makes my brain so excited that I'm actually tackling this thing in a very structured way. If you're feeling lazy, scheduling helps. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it's so fantastic for overwhelmed people, because what it does is that it makes things less of a lion. Like, it gives you a pathway, it gives you structure, and it breaks things down in a way that you're able to just handle in small bits that make up for something bigger towards the end. I know that whenever I'm feeling lazy, that one thing that also gets me going is if I feel like I've accomplished something, then I'm motivated to do more. And maybe I get it done quicker than I thought that I would. I'm motivated to do more. And so what I do is, after I've scheduled things by time, I write out what my top priorities are from this particular breakdown. What are the things that, no matter how any other thing goes, I really want to end the day knowing that I at least got these things done. And those are my top priorities. So for example, shoot video 1 and 2, very, very important, because I really need to get them done so that I can do other things. And then the last one that I have written here is grocery shopping. And the reason is because I need to grocery shop in order to cook dinner. Like, me not doing that will affect how the rest of the day goes. So for me, it's a top priority, and I write that down. And then after that, I have another like small to-do list on the side. And this particular to-do list, I don't give the items here time slots because they are usually very small. Like, they're very small tasks that maybe take 10, 15, 30 minutes to do. So like you guys can see here, call Noma, call Maz, call Ozo. And these are things I can do in 15 minutes. So I could do this during the break hour that I've given myself in between tasks. Script video 1 and 2, for example, I normally do this in about 30 minutes. So I can actually get 2 done in an hour, or like in between shoots. And on the bottom right, I have a section for notes. And then basically this place, honestly, for me, I always just note things that I did not finish or I could not finish and I want to carry over to the next day. And then I also note in this one section things that maybe I want to redo or tweak. Once I have done this or I handle things like this, guys, I feel so much better and I feel like very productive and I just feel motivated to get things done. And that is literally how I'm powering through my day these days. Scheduling really, really, really does something for people who do it. And that's the reason why, if it's an unexplored thing for you, please consider exploring it, okay? In this planner too, I have like a Kanban system that I also use, and I really, 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 really love seeing things move. Like, if you're not familiar with the Kanban system, I'm going to leave a link that will just give you an idea what it was, but it's just basically a scheduling system that helps you track like the progress of like tasks that you have to do. So for me, every time something moves from to do to doing, I feel so happy. And then when it gets to done, I feel like the happiest, because for me, I actually saw this thing move from one stage to the other. If you're interested in my planner, because I know that some of you might say, oh, Dima, I'm interested in this and I might want to get it, I'm going to have a link to this planner where you can buy it in the description box. I have one regular one that is easy to print on an A4 paper. You print it out and you can use a pen to fill it out and put it in a folder. And because the way it's done is not dated, you can use this forever, right? It's not like something that you can only use in 2024. By the time 2025 comes along, you can't use it again. That's not what the case is. So 2024, 2025, 2026, it doesn't matter when you buy this, you should be able to use it, right? I also have a more complex like version. So I have a very simple one that you can just import to your note-taking app, or you can leave on your computer, or you can just print out and then fill out manually. But I also have a very much more complex version of this planner that has like links, hyperlinks, like stuff like you can click on and then you can use with like Notability and a lot of all these other apps that we use to take notes on our tablets at the moment. But I hope that you guys found this video helpful, and I really, really want you guys to try this and let me know how it goes for you guys. Please, some of you have asked me, Dima, show me how you schedule. How do you plan your day? Because I've kind of talked about this in previous vlogs. I wanted to dedicate a video to it. Please, guys, try this and give me feedback. I want to see if it actually helps you guys as much as it has helped me. I hope you guys loved this video. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.